spotlight on the condition to learn a wee bit more, especially since Scotland has the third highest incidence of type 1 diabetes in the world.
So joining us now is Lynzy Plews, whose son Alexander lives with diabetes. Thank you very much for joining us tonight, Lynzy. Good to see you. So how old is Alexander? When was he diagnosed?
So Alexander's 4.5, and he was diagnosed last April, so it was just before his 3rd birthday that we found out he had type 1.
And how does it actually affect your life and his life on a daily basis?
It affects it every possible way, actually. I think type 1 diabetes is one of these conditions that is very unpredictable, and it takes a lot of work to manage it. It's manageable, but it takes a lot of organisation and hard work to manage it.
Is your day almost timed to the minute of what you've got to do and the changes that you have to make?
It used to be, but because of the new pump technology that we're now using, it's a lot more flexible. So he's got a lot more flexibility with what he can eat, what he can do through the night and everything too. So I think the thing with diabetes, it affects every part of your day and every part of your night as well. Basically, the pancreas can't produce insulin anymore, so cells are destroyed, and so basically he needs to get his insulin in another way. So he was on injections to begin with, and we had to administer those 4 or 5 times throughout the day. Every time he eats, you have to count the number of carbohydrates in whatever food it is, which to begin with is insane, but actually you get to learn it quite quickly. So you can be like, what's a banana? Like 20, digestive 10, and yogurt 5. And you just add it up, and you get a lot of maths involved.
So how much of a difference has this pump made? What is it actually doing to help his life?
It's made an incredible difference, actually. When he was on injections, it was much more limited with when he could eat and what he could eat, in terms of he could only have certain amounts of snacks and had to eat 3 times a day. With the pump, he can eat whenever he wants. So it's just incredible. It's so flexible, and in terms of the way it delivers the insulin, it works in 2 ways. So it's a little machine, a bit chunkier than a mobile phone, with a tube coming out that gets injected under his skin, which we then change every 3 days. And it basically works, it's like being on a constant drip. So it delivers it on a constant basis around the clock. It also means that whenever he has something to eat, we can count the carbohydrates, program it into the pump, and it will give him an extra boost of insulin to balance it out with his blood sugars going up. The insulin will then bring the blood sugars back down and hopefully balance it out at a stable level.
An amazing piece of technology. And is it quite readily available just now?
At the moment, I think there's a lot of issues with funding in terms of the NHS. It's quite an expensive piece of equipment. In saying that, the impact and just the difference that it has made in our lives has been incredible. I think at the moment, only about 2% of the population, of the type 1 diabetic population in Scotland, have access to a pump. So there's still a lot of development and things to happen.
Stages.
Yeah.
And it's a big problem here in Scotland, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It's actually on the increase. At the moment, I think there's about 29,500 people with type 1 diabetes. So the fact that, compared to other developed countries around the world, the fact that only 2% have access to a pump is really quite small.
Something that hopefully should change. And if you have been affected by this, or you think you have any symptoms of diabetes, then go and see your doctor, I think, and maybe see about getting a pump as well.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much for joining us, Lynzy, and tell us a wee bit more.
Thank you. Now, as you know by now,